Portfolio Builder members, we have an emergency trade alert. We're facing war with Iran, rate cuts, and a presidential election. Buy these 6 stocks now to double your money by Christmas. We're up 775% in 4 years, outperforming the S&P 500 by 1,540%. This hedged portfolio protects against war, rate cuts, and the possibility of Trump or Kamala winning the election. Act now before it's too late. If you're seeing this on Twitter, comment below for a free 14-day trial. No credit card required. We will DM you to set up your trial. You'll get a live walkthrough with Dean Gallagher and access to the membership area completely free for 14 days. And again, this is a $5,000 a year advisory service. High risk portfolio allocation. We have 2 portfolios. This is the one that has had the best return. We have a defense and an offense. And again, once you call Dean to get your free trial and walk through the membership area, up here in our calculator, you just type in how much money to invest, hit calculate, and it'll break down exactly how many shares of each ETF or stock you should purchase. On the defensive side, we have a small crash insurance play with the ticker UVXY. This plays the VIX. If stocks plummet, this has an asymmetrical exponential return that will protect your portfolio. Not thinking that's the base case right now, but again, we have it built into the portfolio. If we're facing a recession or deflation that is much greater than what everyone's predicting, TMF is going to make us a ton of money. It's the long end of the bond market leveraged times 3. And again, if the Fed's about to cut rates, it will force rates down and make TMF go up regardless. We're not in the USD position currently, but that's sitting there in case we ever need to go to cash. On the offensive side, with a Trump win, you want to be owning Coinbase and IBIT. He is pro crypto and is going to fire Gary Gensler and change regulations in an extremely pro crypto manner. With Kamala, the tech companies are likely going to thrive, as well as the oil companies, which is why we have ERX, that's big oil and gas companies in America. If we start messing with supply chains in Iran from a war, the US companies are going to have a huge return and oil is going to spike. So ERX is a great hedge for a Kamala war scenario with Iran. FNGU, again, are the top tech companies that are primarily positioned for AI. So you've got your NVIDIA, your Tesla, your Microsoft, your Google, your Facebook, and a few others. Okay, so this is our very balanced portfolio. And again, we're heavy in Coinbase currently with the current outlook of a Trump victory. But these odds are shifting, and we'll be quick to react as we get more data in. Here's our return broken down. We've had a higher return this year, but we had a bit of a pullback over the summer. I think we're going to make very few changes into the election. And basically, we're expecting the Fed to cut interest rates next month and probably again in November and December, which is going to skyrocket the market into the election. So again, a lot of good reasons why $6 trillion sitting in money market funds are about to enter stocks, as everybody realizes the money market rate is about to collapse, and they're going to put that money into stocks, bonds, and cryptocurrencies. Furthermore, the election is hyper bullish for stocks. So there's a lot of reasons to believe that you want to be buying this dip today. And again, if you're seeing this on Twitter, act now before it's too late. Comment below for a free 14-day trial. We will DM you to collect your info and set up a free phone consultation to walk you through the membership area. And no credit card is required during this 14-day period. If you'd rather just call us to set up the trial, call Dean now at 505-322-7515. Safe growth portfolio allocation. Very similar. In the safe growth portfolio, we're looking a little bit more towards value plays. So we have a heavier treasury position, which has had one of the worst drawdowns in history. Then we have EDC, that's playing emerging markets, which have been beaten up by the strong dollar. If you noticed, Just 2 days ago, Japan hiked interest rates, and the U.S. is forecasting interest rate drops. So this is going to make the dollar weaken and make emerging markets likely outperform U.S. markets dramatically. So we have that position. We've got the oil hedge with ERX. That's your war hedge or Kamala hedge. And then we have a huge Bitcoin position with IBIT. So I'll go down the breakdown again. In the high risk portfolio, we have 4.6% in UVXY, 15% approximately in treasuries, 39% in Coinbase. And again, we've got the BlackRocks of the world loading up on Bitcoin right now. So I think it will go up regardless of who wins the election. It'll just probably be a lot better with Trump. For IBIT and with Kamala, you're probably going to make more money with the tech giants and the oil play. So again, we have 15% in TMF, 39% in Coinbase, 10% in ERX, 13% in FNGU, and 17% in IBIT. Now it's important to note the asset allocation percentages will vary day to day. What's going to stay the same is the number of shares we own. All our members have the same ratio of shares, so we all get the same return over time. We're going to publish that return to you daily so you can see how the portfolio is performing on a day-by-day basis. So again, once you get your trial, log in, punch in how much money you want to invest, and it will print out the ratio of shares to purchase. And if we need a trade alert to occur, I edit the template, and then you simply go in, punch in your number again, and you know exactly what to buy and sell. If we look at the Safe Growth portfolio, same setup. The unit cost is 2,669. All these start at 1,000, so you can just see what the growth has been over the last 4 years. This portfolio has grown from 1,000 to 2,669 per unit, while the high risk grew to over 8,000, just making insane returns. This portfolio, again, has 2 shares per unit in UVXY, representing 2% of the portfolio. We've got a big treasury position with 11 shares at 22.59. Then we have 12 shares of EDC, that's EEM times 3, representing 14% of your portfolio. We've got 8 shares of ERX, the big oil and gas companies in America, leverage times 3 at 19%, and then a massive Bitcoin play with IBIT at 41.7% or 31 shares per unit. This portfolio has done well. The return has been 25% 2019, 4% 2020, 2021, 25.81%, 2022. We had a drawdown. That was a tough year, negative 25%, 2023, 14.68%. And this year we're up 8.21. And again, these are highly balanced portfolios with asset classes that hedge one another. We're not just getting lucky going all in on a single bet where you can make it or lose it all in a very short order. Again, if you're on Twitter, act now before it's too late. Comment below for a free 14-day trial. We'll direct message you to gather your info, set up your free consultation. And again, this is a free 14-day trial to a $5,000 a year advisory service. If you'd rather just call us, call Dean now at 505-322-7515. Okay, let's look at some charts. Here's your S&P 500. Nice pullback. Again, we're expecting the stock market to be rigged to the upside into the election. We've got rate cuts and $6 trillion in money markets. As the rate cuts come in, there's $6 trillion sitting in money market funds, and that interest rate of 5.5% is going to start dropping rapidly. So people are going to get the clue. What's also important is Janet Yellen has raised a massive amount of money that's about to flood into the economy. So this is a really great day to buy the dip and build out our portfolio. UVXY is the VIX product. It's a good crash insurance play. This year the last few years it's been decimated. But if you get a black swan event, and with this political climate, with leaders being assassinated left and right, co-ops happening, it's just complete madness. It's very smart to have this in case any black swan events occur in the next few months. Here's the NASDAQ. Again, this has been dominating everything, led by NVIDIA, and I believe this trend will continue. Yesterday, NVIDIA had the biggest market cap growth of any stock in a single day in history at $330 billion. And again, our product playing FNGU gives you 3 times leverage. All these top companies, they're all fighting in the AI race. So we believe this is a good play for the next decade, honestly. IBIT is the big BlackRock Bitcoin ETF. They are suppressing it below 70K. I think they want to buy every single Bitcoin possible before they allow it to break out to the upside so that they get the most profit for their clientele. And again, big sell-off, great time to buy the dip for IBIT. Coinbase has a monopoly in the US as the main cryptocurrency exchange, partnered with all the big banks. And this has actually been causing some problems for Bitcoin miners because now all the activity is happening inside the stock market or Coinbase, and it's not happening on the Bitcoin mining networks. So that was one of the reasons why we've had some volatility in Bitcoin, but that has become fixed as the supply and demand comes back into a norm. If we're about to have Israel cause chaos in the Middle East, obviously backed by the US, there's a good chance oil spikes, and it's going to hurt the supply in the Middle East and give the US a huge advantage. So ERX is a great play to hedge yourself. Now, also, I like ERX if we're going to have a massive fiscal deficit and then cut interest rates. Inflation's quite likely going to start coming back up soon. And the best way to hedge against inflation is playing the oil market. So ERX. Here's a look at oil. They did get it nice and low for the CPI so they could justify rate cuts. But again, the second they actually start cutting rates and continue this massive fiscal deficit, which Trump or Kamala would continue, expect the price of inflation to come back. Now, the Russell 2000 typically is a bullish signal. When we start to see the mega caps rotate into these small caps, this shows that we're getting more breadth in the market and that you're typically going to have a nice prolonged stock market rally. And you can see that's exactly what's begun to happen over the last few weeks with Russell 2000. We're not playing that in our portfolio, but it's something I like to watch. Now, with interest rates so high, the banks have huge losses on their bond portfolios. So we like to watch the regional banking ETF. And this is looking quite healthy. So we're not worried about a banking financial crisis at this moment in time. Here's the federal funds rate. They hiked it so swiftly, the fastest in history. And the rest of the economy is used to 0 to 2% rates. So now it's very hard for them to turn over the debt and be able to pay the interest. So it's going to be very important. And this includes the United States of America as well. We just breached 35 trillion in debt. The debt interest payments are now larger than Social Security or the military budget. So it's not possible to maintain the current fiscal deficits with these high interest rates. So you better believe, regardless of the inflation, they're going to cut to keep this party going along. Now, this is important. This is the M2 money stock. You can see since 2022, the amount of money circulating has been falling. And only recently has this started to pick back up. So this is a huge bullish sign to get into risk assets. ISM often leads the economy, and that's starting to peak back up. For the last few months, it was falling, helping get the inflation data down. But you can see it's starting to tick back up. PMIs typically are a little bit lagging, still not showing that, but still obviously in an uptrend since 2023. So the economy is heating back up despite the high level of interest rates. Now, importantly for the Fed, in the short term, we do expect inflation to remain flat or fall, and for the unemployment rate to continue to rise up. The recent unemployment and job openings data was quite scary. So they really do need to cut rates to avoid a dramatic pullback in the stock market and recession. Here's the inflation rate according to the government. I like to look at Truflation. Truflation already has us down at 1.5. We're quite confident we're set up to have some beats and even perhaps some deflation coming in the next few months to support the rate cuts in September. Let's look at some of the presidential winner betting markets. Polymarket, the most liquid market, has Trump at 54%. PredictIt now has Kamala winning. And man, they are doing a massive media campaign and huge ad buys. It looks like Michigan could potentially be the single state, and Kamala is putting ungodly amounts of money to win that state. So again, we're not going to be political. We want to make money, and the two main predicting markets are conflicting currently. There's a lot more volume on Polymarket than PredictIt, but we're going to keep a close eye on that. And again, what's interesting is since they switched out the candidate for the Democratic Party, Trump's odds have been falling rapidly. And there's a basket of investments related to Trump that have been directly tied to his probabilities winning the election. And I'd throw crypto into that basket. I do think the honeymoon stage for Kamala is going to start to wear off, and these might start to sway back, which is why we're not running for the hills on our cryptocurrency position. We're also seeing Kamala perhaps changing the outlook for regulations on cryptocurrencies for the Democratic Party and breaking paths with Elizabeth Warren. So we'll see how that plays out. But it's become quite clear that a lot of people are single issue voters on cryptocurrencies. And again, the last 4 years, Gary Gensler and the banking cartel have done everything possible to ruin that industry. And yet it's still one of the best performing assets this year. And again, has all the big banks behind it. Okay, so very good. If you want to start your free trial and get a walkthrough, a login, build out your portfolio with Dean holding your hand, call him now at 505-322-7515. I'll go ahead and take any questions. Okay, so Rich is saying, what should be done with GBTC? Yeah, so we sold GBTC and bought IBIT. And I've also updated it into the track record. Someone's asked if we're creating a taxable event. Yeah, so if you're in your IRA or 401k, it's not a taxable event. If you're in a cash account, then if you're up, yeah, you're creating a tax event and you shouldn't do the switch. So if you're up and it's not in a retirement account, just hold GBTC. And again, I'm expecting Bitcoin to hit probably with the Trump win close to 200,000 sometime in 2025, 2026. A lot of this is going to have to do with how fast rates drop, what the fiscal deficit looks like, and how quickly interest rates get to a lower level. With Kamala, we'll have to see how she pivots on policy. If she ditches Elizabeth Warren and Gary Gensler, then perhaps the Democrats will be just as bullish for cryptocurrencies. Their history doesn't say that. But again, politicians like votes, and this is becoming a clear, important vote across America. Yeah, IBIT has 0.25% fee. All the GBTC products have 2%. So if you're in a retirement account, switch it all to IBIT. If you're in a cash account and you're up big, don't realize the gain, just stay in GBTC. We'll be hosting this webinar weekly from now on, now that we're through summer and there's a little more action to respond to with everything. And the fee is built into the price, so you don't see the fee. It's just built into the share price. So again, if you're up big and you're in a cash account, don't take the gain. Wait till we sell in November of next year. We're probably going to have 150% return on GBTC between now and next November, getting us towards 180,000 Bitcoin price. If you're in a retirement account, you can switch over so you have a little less fees on the annual basis on that. Bill's asking if we'll do Thursdays or Wednesdays. Probably we'll do Wednesdays. I wanted to do today's on Thursday so I could watch the FOMC come out yesterday in Jerome Powell's speech. So a lot of people are wondering what's going on with the crazy volatility. So just some brief comments. Japan hiked interest rates and caused a stock crash. Last week, when we had some volatility in the Nasdaq, came quite clear that some big hedge funds like SoftBank were getting liquidated out in Japan. And what they did protected their currency, but it crashed the Nikkei, the Japanese stock market, dramatically. So I do think the reason we're having a sell-off in cryptocurrencies is one, the war escalating means that a lot of shady characters could be in trouble and potentially having to sell some of their crypto. Two, I think the Japanese big whales are having extreme pain in their portfolios and they had to sell. And then three, the Trump odds have fallen about 10% since they switched out Kamala. And again, everything in the Trump basket is down. So those three factors combined. Big picture, Bitcoin's not going away. It's survived every attack you can imagine. And regardless of who wins, I still think it goes way above 100,000 and probably peaks out around 200 to 250 if we get all the best conditions in place. Okay, so once again, if you're a free trial and want to get access to the membership area where you get the calculator, call Dean now at 505-322-7515. You'll be getting daily updates on the P&L of both portfolios. And again, we'll do our next webinar either Wednesday or Thursday. Rich Jones says, do we sell? So yeah, replace GBTC with IBIT if you're in a retirement account. If you're in a cash account, don't change anything. They're the same thing, just one has better fees. And now that we're opening up the membership to new people, we'd rather start off with the lower fee structure. If you're already in GBTC and you're in a cash account, it doesn't make any sense to realize your gain. Okay, guys, thank you so much. We'll see you back next week. Call Dean, look for the daily updates. I'll also be publishing a short daily video to review the returns as well as what's going on in the economy, in markets, politically, and also the war front. We now have wars happening all over the place. Ukraine, Russia, as well as U.S. Israel versus Iran. So lots of news to report to you daily. It'll be in the email, and we're also starting a new Twitter profile that will publish the daily video.